在印度出现可怕的变种病毒，它的变种病毒是2种，我们在上礼拜《文茜时报》为大家报告过，一个是加州变种病毒，一个是巴西变种病毒。加州变种病毒并没有更高的死亡率，但是它的传染率高过20%，而巴西变种病毒呢是致死率增高，再加上印度本身的原因，我们刚刚所说的所有的背景全部都加起来，形成了一个印度我们所看到的可怕的悲剧，加上它所感染的新的一个菌，而这个很多的感染的新的病使它的死亡率不断的增加。而在这个情况里头，全世界对印度变种病毒、印度相关的旅游寄出最严格措施的是澳洲，甚至澳洲的公民都不可以回来。可是终于这个规定让很多澳洲的人权团体攻击他的总理莫里森，说你太没有人权观念。于是，在5月7号的时候，澳洲总理取消了这个禁令措施，然后派出了包机把澳洲公民要接回去。可是接的时候，他说你要测试你是阴性的，阳性不准上来。然后他准备再派2、3次飞机，预估他只能够接回900名澳洲公民。可是澳洲在印度可能有高达9000公民。对澳洲总理莫里森来说，他要保护现在在澳洲当地的澳洲人，他没有办法在乎在印度当地的澳洲人，因为印度变种病毒太可怕了。
This is a serious and evolving situation. The travel advice has been upgraded to reconsider all travel to China.
In the early days of the pandemic, as COVID was starting to spread rapidly through China, Australia brought in what were then considered sweeping travel bans. But there were exceptions.
To substantially reduce the volume of travellers coming from mainland China, with the exception of Australian citizens, permanent residents and their immediate family, I would hope that we can get as many people home, and if not all of them, by Christmas.
That ambition proved wildly elusive. Fast forward to around midnight on Friday night, when Health Minister Greg Hunt announced an emergency declaration under the Biosecurity Act 2015 that imposes a very new kind of border control. Travellers from India are banned, including Australian citizens.
For the first time in our history, it will be a criminal offence for some Australians to come home from overseas. 9 News understands within the next 48 hours, returning citizens will be threatened with 5 years jail if they've been in India in the last 2 weeks.
澳洲总理莫里森颁布最严禁令，以最高5年监禁和66000元澳币，相当于台币145万的罚款，让从印度入境成为犯罪。这是首次有国家实行不撤侨，反而禁止公民回国的政策。
There is more pressure on the federal government this morning to ease its India travel ban, with former Test cricketer Michael Slater accusing Scott Morrison of having blood on his hands. The former opening batsman turned broadcaster says if the government really cared for the safety of Australian citizens in COVID-ravaged India, it would allow them to return home.
I have heard people say, you know what, give me the fine, put me in jail, at least my family will be able to meet me. I mean, look at us here. We are not able to see our loved ones, and it's in people who've been, the families who've been separated, they have not seen each other for what, a good year and a half? It's a joke. And if you compare the population, India is a country of 1.3 billion people with 300,000 cases. US is a population of 300 or 30 million people with a 300,000 cases.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do the math. It's just, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, the point you're trying to make here, let's state it very clearly. The point you're trying to make is, per capita, the situation that Australia faced with people coming from the UK, but in particular the US, was worse than the per capita problem now faced in India.
随着新冠疫情大流行，澳洲从2020年3月就开始限制入境，是最早关闭边境的国家。2020年11月之后，除了重新对疫情基本清零的邻国纽西兰开放之外，所有入境旅客均要在酒店进行强制性的14天自费隔离。目前有约36000名澳洲国民登记请求政府协助回国。有法律专家指出，这项临时禁令违反国际法。澳洲参与联署的公民权利及政治权利国际公约认可的权利当中，包括公民有权不被任意禁止回国。对于政府将从印度入境列为犯罪的措施，澳洲著名保守派媒体评论员博尔特表示，政策刻薄无理到不得不将其归罪于种族主义。
I just think this is a terrible stain that betrays how panicked we are with fear. I'm not saying bring them and, let them loose in the streets. We have medical facilities that should be able to cope with it. And I think we are just letting people in the lurch, and I cannot help but think the fact that they're Indian-born is a factor in this, and shame on us.
The Prime Minister, Scott Morrison's online. All I pick up and read over the course of the weekend is you're racist, your government's racist, and everyone else is racist. Can you elaborate on why you're not racist?
Yes, I understand the measures have strong sanctions with them, but we've had the Biosecurity Act in place now for over a year, and no one's gone to jail. There's no politics or ideology in a pandemic.
根据估算，至少有9000名澳洲人身在印度，当中包括了在印度板球联赛效力的数十名澳洲籍球员。印度板球联盟只能先安排澳洲板球队先移至马尔地夫或斯里兰卡隔离2周。对此，外交部长佩恩表示，最新数据显示，隔离检疫当中有57%的确诊个案是来自印度入境的旅客，而在3月时，这个数字仅为10%。他认为这对澳洲卫生医疗系统来说是非常大的负担。
If I die, Australian government will be responsible.
Stuck in India for almost a year with his mother, Sunny Jura has now tested positive for COVID.
We are Australian citizens and we need to be protected. We need to be taken back from here.
He was among 150 Australians due to fly home tonight on this Qantas plane. It carried in desperately needed medical supplies to India, but will now return home around half empty. Around 40 would-be passengers testing positive to COVID, while another 30 are close contacts. All now stopped from travelling to Australia.
然而，在舆论强烈反扑下，澳洲总理莫里森5月7号撤销了禁令，并在5月15号到31号间派出3架撤侨包机，以大约900名可能最易感染且新冠检测呈阴性的公民为优先。不过结果仍令人不满意。
Hello, Ritam.
Closed borders split families.
It's literally more than a year. We are stuck in India and we are far away from our dear ones.
Neha was one of 46 Australians bumped off last week's India repatriation flight after testing positive for COVID. She didn't believe it and got her own test, which gave the opposite result.
I retested on 15th of May and my RT-PCR results are negative. I don't have any symptoms also. So I feel really very helpless.
She's not the only one. 11 people who tested positive have since received negative results. The government's investigating, but is not yet conceding there's been a bungle.
We're always reviewing the process, but what this process has done is it has prevented cases coming to Australia.
Scott Morrison needs to take responsibility for something.
在印度疫情依然险峻的情况下，数千名澳洲公民在印度望春秋水，期盼回家的日子早日到来。